2, 3. Hey everybody, how we doing today? My name is Michael.
And I'm Dione.
And welcome to Misfits Adventures. We got barking dogs across from us over there. They're saying hello to us. They can see us. Anyways, let's start this over again. Over here. He just wants to say hello to you. Can you see you still?
No.
Okay. All right. 1, 2. Hey everybody, how we doing today? My name is Michael.
And I'm Dione.
And welcome to Misfits Adventures. Hey, today we are continuing on with our move to get out of the campground here. We got some different news yesterday than we were hoping for, but it's okay because it's not really bad news. He said it was bad news, but not really. They're going to close the cafe this weekend, not next weekend. So we're still pretty much going to leave about the same time. We still have some things to do, and that's why we're getting up early today. We have to go to work today. It's Saturday, and we're going to go to O'Reilly's or someplace to find a couple things. Now, if you remember last episode, the brakes didn't work. Well, the brake controller said it had a short in the brakes. We just got through doing the brakes, so it's either the wiring or the plug. I think the first thing we need to do is just go down and get a new plug, and I'll rewire that. So that's what we're going to do. There's also a tester that they have for the truck itself. You can put it in, and then it will read out in different colors if your flashers are working, if your turn signals are working, or if your brakes are working on it. So that just tests the circuitry on the truck. They don't make one to test the circuitry on the camper. At least I don't think they do. They might, but we haven't been able to find one. So we're going to go look today for that, and we're going to go look for a new cord or a new plug itself. I've been watching YouTube videos that are kind of horror stories where they're saying, hey, the wires are put into the axles and the axles shake around, and when they shake around, all the insulation comes off and they're shorting inside. And if that's the case, it's not really that hard probably to rewire the whole camper for brakes, because it's just pretty much exposed. Everything's right there. So I just have to put a new wire down. But I really don't want to go through that. No. So what we're going to do today is the couple hours that we have, we're going to go just run to the store, get some stuff. So maybe tomorrow morning or Monday I can get out and either make a new connection on it for the plug, put all the wires back together inside of it, see if that works. If that doesn't work, we're hauling the camper out to a paved surface someplace. I'm going to get underneath the camper, and I'm going to try to do all the connections that I made. I'm going to redo them. I have all the soldering stuff still left, so I'm going to go ahead and try that and get that done.
Yes.
Once that's done, there's a few other things inside we have to do, and get rid of all of this junk outside here. The chairs go inside underneath the bed on her side of the camper. And then I don't know what we're going to do with the grill. I guess the grill's going to just go inside. We have that handy-dandy little tray thing that comes around from the back that it's supposed to sit on, but we really need to have it mounted. So if we can find somebody on the road that's cheap and we can have somebody weld or mount this on there for under $100, that would be like friggin' awesome. And then we're going to throw that table away. That extra tank is going to go in the back there. We're going to actually take the 2 batteries that are back there. We're going to try to get a solar panel for $100 someplace so we can keep those charged. If nothing else, I figure with the batteries, if nothing else that we have out there or in the truck, the old camper batteries, I figure that we can put a solar panel on it, and then I figure that we can just run lights off of it outside, and that way we can have lights around our site, and we're not paying for lights, and they're not the cheapo LED lights. So yeah, that would work pretty well too. Or even if they are the cheap LED lights, at least we'll have a battery to the 12-volt ones and hook them up that way. All right, guys, so we are heading off to O'Reilly's, and if not O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Napa, or even Home Depot has stuff. Even Walmart might because they got reset.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. So, all right, guys, we're heading out. So is all these other people. It's almost checkout time. It's 11 o'clock here in the campground. We got to be to work by 2:30. We got to eat, and I got to take a shower, so we got to go. Right?
Right.
All right. Follow us. All right, guys, so we're here. We're going to run in and see if they've got the plug to test with and the plug that we need to replace with. So we'll be right back. Right, Max? So I got to sit in the car all by myself. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll be right back. So, all right, guys, we went ahead and we got what we needed, the plug. We got a plug that lights up. There's no warranty on it. So it means it's pretty much probably cheap and it's going to fall apart in a year and I'm going to have to redo this again. But that's really all they had. And then we also bought this little tester thing. You plug it into the back, and then what it does is it tests the connection and makes sure your lights and brakes and all that stuff is working, which they do anyway. So we'll figure this out. We're gonna spin home and try to get this done. All right, guys, so we're back at the camper, and we ended up getting these things here. We got the, this is a tester. You plug it in, and then it will read everything for you. But Dione noticed that it has a hole in it like I noticed. And it's got these set screws in it. So basically what this thing is gonna do is, this thing's gonna be our plug. And then it will give us a readout here of everything's working. Let's see. It's not gonna be bad to do. It's a hard plastic, so I don't know if it's gonna work any better than the old one. And then we also bought this one. Let me get this one out. We got this one here, which has an LED light in it, and it turns on when everything's plugged in. And that one, you can take it apart and then put the wire in back here. So yeah, I don't know which one we're going to use, but they're both the same thing, only one has a tester on it. We went out to get a tester and one of these, and we ended up getting two of the same thing, basically, but one that has a tester. Instead of taking it back, I guess we're just going to keep it. We're not going to do this today, but yeah, so this just does plug in there pretty well. It fits good. It's got all these little, so it's got right turn, left turn, auxiliary, BU, which is maybe the brakes, EB, emergency brake, I don't know, and then a TM, which is, I have no idea. So I'm going to have to figure out what the codes are here on the back when the lights light up, and then we'll know what it is. So all right, guys, we're going to not do anything today because of work. It's now about 12:30, and we got to leave here at 2:30. So we're just going to wrap all this up right now. So check us out. It's going to be another couple days before we get to it. All right, guys, so today is Tuesday, so it's been a couple days since we were last on. Last time we went ahead and got the plug for the camper, and I've had some time to think about the plug, and instead of fixing the plug and putting the plug back on, or a new plug, I'm going to make sure the wires are correct on the camper itself. We went ahead and put the new brakes on, and I rewired it, and I don't know if all the wires are good. If they are, then we're going to go ahead and change the plug itself and put that in, and hopefully that's it. But other than that, I think that is probably what it is, the wiring that we put on. I think the plug worked fine because when I plugged it in, all the lights came on, and the only thing that didn't was the controller said there was a short. So when I called up E-Trailer, That's where we got the brakes from 2 years ago, and we just now put them on. He said it's probably just a wire that's not connected, or maybe something else happened. So there's other scenarios. People were saying also that they put the wires from one side to the other. They bring it up on the back side of the trailer, or the opposite side of the trailer than the door is. They put the wires all the way through, and then they tie off the wires there and then bring them over to the other side, and they put them through the axles like I was saying before, and what happens is the wires bounce up and down, it loses all its insulation, and therefore it starts to short out. If that's the case, after we get the wiring done underneath and we think it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy some wire, some blue wire, because that's the color it's supposed to be, and I'm going to hook the blue wires up going from the back side to the front side. And I mean, if I have to, I'll buy a whole new wiring harness. It's like $45, $50 for the whole thing, with the plug, the box, the brake, I don't even know what you'd call it, the key with the it's a little
emergency
stop. It's
stop.
Emergency stop. So it's got a key in it that has a cable that goes to your back of your hitch, and let's say the hitch comes off and your camper gets free. Well, as soon as that pin pulls out, then the brakes stop it, and it keeps it from going anywhere. I mean, it literally just goes on and stops it. So I'm gonna have to, when we get over there, disconnect the power to everything, and then I'm going to go, well, actually, I'm not gonna disconnect the power at first. I'm gonna take an ohms meter, which we have underneath the bed, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to find out where the short is, where the power is, if we got power all the way to the back or not, or whatever the deal is. We'll figure this out. But meanwhile, we have to take it out of here. So as you can see, I went ahead and removed everything from the side of the camper. We got the other bike tent over here, mine. Went ahead and took everything. We folded this back in. I took everything off over here. Put the sewer cap back on. Yeah, let's see. There we go. That's all shut. I had some problems with this. I had to unscrew this. It wouldn't come off because it's been on for like a year and a half. And when we moved from the other side of the park and came over on this side, I had to just let it hang, and we just kind of drove around with it. I had it wrapped up and put it around the tire, the cable itself. So everything's all disconnected. Looks like we're leaving, but we're not. We are definitely going to take it out for a spin. I'm planning on doing this over at the Hammond Marina. Is where we want to do it. So we're going to go ahead and hitch this up and drive it out of here. Hopefully we can get this fixed today, but I figure we can be in this big parking lot out there, and nobody will bother us. It's paved, and I can get underneath and everything will be fine. On these rocks and gravel, I just can't work. It kills my back and my knees. So all this just to take it out to get these wires fixed. You see a bunch of campers leaving. This is the day after Labor Day. So we had a full park. Last night was our last night at the campground, or at the restaurant. So, yep, we're gonna go hook this up. So we got it hooked up. I got the running lights on. I got the brake on. You can see where it says short, but when I put the brake on, it doesn't. Yeah, so it's not doing anything. So we got to fix that. That's what we're going to do. Max is in the car with me. Mommy's going to take her car, or Dione. So she's going to come and get Max. Right, because you got to be with Mommy. I know. There she is.
Come on.
Let's go.
Let's go get in my car.
All right, so she's gonna follow us, follow the camper over. She's gonna stay and watch the camper, making sure nothing gets hit. And then we're leaving. We're gonna go over there to fix the camper. We'll be over there for a couple hours probably, and then we'll be back. All right, so we made it over here to the Hammond Marina. And this is where we flew the drone for the opening shot of Misfits Adventures for up here. Everything looked like it's okay. I'm gonna unplug this for right now. Don't need that on. I heard a bunch of stuff rattling inside, so we're gonna go inside in a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna have to glue this back on, all this stuff here, and redo this. We're gonna take, we'll take this out and and stick that through so that'll shut. But I think it rode okay. We'll see how the inside did. We didn't really put too much stuff up. Let's see, where is the key? Here are the keys. Open that up. I heard all sorts of shit falling. And not as bad as I thought. It must have been something else. Nope, we're all right. Some wine fell down, but that was okay. All right, so Max, inside. Get up in the house.
Up.
He's like, what the heck? What's the house doing here? All right, guys, so here, stick these over there. Some on the floor. There you go. So this is where we're at. We're at the Hammond Marina. We brought you here. This is one of the first places we came. And yeah, bye Max. So what we're going to do is we're going to get underneath and check the wires. Make sure the wires are all tight, and that's good. If by chance they're not, then we will come over here, and we've got the new plugs. Like I'm saying, hey, everything works on this plug except for one thing, and that's the brake. And if you look at all the diagrams, this little notch right, well, we can't point, the little notch at the top, it starts the reference point. So this one here should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe that one is the blue wire, which the blue wire does the brakes. So this all looks really good. I know it looks wet and lubed, but it has the lubing stuff on it, which is good for it so it doesn't corrode up here. So we're going to get underneath here and start working on it. I don't know if we're going to jack it up or not. Haven't figured that out yet. So I don't know if you can see these two wires here. These are the ones that we did, and we did them with the solder connectors. These are waterproof marine butt connectors here. So we got these done. I think they look good to me. I pull on them, they're fine. The solder inside has been melted. Not maybe all the way, but it has been melted. Probably could melt it a little bit more, which I'm going to sit here and do for a few more seconds. But yep, that's what we're doing. Got to do all of them. I didn't use the ohms meter because I wasn't going to rip the wires off. I probably should have, just to see if the circuit was from there to there. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the side here, which we're on the opposite side of the door. And this is where the connection runs from down there, comes up to here, and then they tap it off from here, go in through the axles to go to the other side. So I'm going to see if these two are good. If these two are good, and I change the plug, and that still doesn't work, then I'm going to have to put a wire from this side to that side, from this side to that side, or bring a whole new wire in. So we'll have to figure this out. But we're out here, and it's paved, and we got a little bit of shade on this side anyways. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to get this done. We're going to figure it out. Max is a whiny butt. Here are the wires. These are the wires that are coming from the front that come down to the back side here to this brake on this wheel. They are going to hook up to the blue wire here, which you can see, and then we have to transfer those over to the other side, so these all have to be tied in also. So I'm going to use those butt connectors again, so hopefully we can get this together. I've got to put all 6 wires together, so it doesn't matter which ones they go on. It's DC, so it really doesn't matter. The magnets are going to work either direction. So yep, this is what we're doing. Hopefully we can get this done. I think this is the side that's all screwed up because it has more wires and it probably didn't make a good connection. But we're going to really try to do a better connection this time. All right, so let's do this. All right. This is much neater.
than I did before. So I brought the two black ones in with the green ones that go to the brakes itself, and then I tapped them off on the other end to go to the other side. So I guess you can see that the solder is pretty much melted all the way through. I can see it on the wires, so that looks like a better one. And like I was saying, you can see right here where it goes through and it goes into the axle itself. You can see it moving in and out right there. So this wire does not really look like it's damaged. If I pull a little bit of it out, it really looks soft. The camper is only, what, 4 years old, so I don't think it had time to mess up. So I've got one more connection. There's still a short. It would be the next wheel over, excuse me, well, over there someplace, that wheel. And we'll start doing that one next. All right, I don't know if you can see me or not. I think we got the short fixed. We're not sure yet until I get out of here, but you know, I don't even know what angle to show this camera to you, or to show this to you. So anyways, here we go. Let's do it this way, maybe. All right, so I got all the wires redone. What we did was, or what I did was, the two green wires that are coming from the brakes themselves, I actually just tied those together, which is kind of stupid. So we've got them all ready. We've got them good now, which are down here. These are the wires that they did. They'll be up there. And these are the wires, I don't know if you can see, that we just did. They weren't really soldered very well also. So what we did was, we had the two green wires, just to let you know, two green wires that were coming out of the brake itself. Well, they were just tied together and nothing was tied to them, so that was the short, I guess. So we will see. Well, that worked. It was the last one that we did that day, and I wired the two wires together instead of even hooking them to any electricity. So it doesn't work that way. You have to hook them up to electricity. So now there's a circuit. The only thing we're going to figure out is that the brakes do work. So the short's dead. I mean, the short's gone. You can see here. And then when I put on the brakes, it says it's doing 4. If I throw the emergency switch, which is turning the brakes on like fast, if I had to go down a hill and like wouldn't stop, I can put that on. You can hear it click. And then it actually is 3.7. But I can turn this up to 6.3. And usually what I do is I turn it to like 4 something. That's a 6 is too high. 4.9 is too high. So I usually keep it around 3 to 4, like just like that, and that's perfect. So now it's setting. So the next thing we're going to do is get Max in the car, get all the tools back gathered. And then we're going to take it for a spin around here on the pavement. I'm going to throw on the brakes a couple times to make sure they work. Hopefully the camper works. And if that's the case, we're going back home. We might do one other thing though. I don't know. I think we're going to do it. There's a scale on the way down to Seaside, but it's on the wrong side of the street. So we're going to have to find a place going all the way down to Seaside, turning around and coming back, and then pulling off on this this weigh station is what it is, and we're going to go ahead and get weighed out and make sure that everything's good and we're under the weight, and then I'll be happy. We're not going to put the stabilizers on, but we should. Definitely when we leave we will put stabilizers on. So anyways, we're packing up and we're going to go around the parking lot, make sure these brakes work, and then maybe go down there. All right guys, so I drove around the parking lot just once, but by the time I came around again, at first there was no brakes whatsoever, and I kept on putting the emergency switch on, emergency switch on, just every 10 feet. And what happened was it automatically started resetting itself. So right now we've got brakes. I put them on all the way to 12. I pushed the emergency switch on, and then I tried to pull the camper, and it really doesn't want to move. So that's a good thing. Next, I think we're going to try to go over to the weigh station, and we're going to weigh ourselves out. Don't know how we're going to do this. I don't want to go in from the opposite side. Probably not a good thing, might get a ticket. Probably the easiest thing to do, but we're not going to do that. So I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to drive a little bit past it and find a place to turn around comfortably, and then come back. If we have to go all the way to Seaside with the camper, I guess that's what we're going to do. We didn't want to do this any earlier than this because Labor Day is pretty much season's ending up here, and there's not a lot of people, a lot of locals out, but not a lot of tourists. So it'll be better for us to do it then, which is now. So we're on our way over there. Hopefully we'll see how much we weigh. I know the truck was 29,000 pounds. We'll see what happens with the camper. God, I hope we're not over. All right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, so we're on the side of the road here at a weigh station. This is it here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn off that blinker. We're gonna try to get the axles right on that plate right there, and it will tell us what it is way over there in little red digits over there. You can see it. So we're gonna roll. She's gonna get out. We're gonna roll the camper on it first. I think it was 29,000 pounds of the truck. I mean, first. And the truck was 29,000 pounds, I believe. And we want to see, we can't have any more than 7,000 pounds extra in the camper. So hopefully we're not over the 7,000 pounds. I get the hiccups, but we're going to see, and that's why we're here. All right, she's getting out. She's going to go up over there. Max is going to stay in the car.
No.
Get some water, buddy. You want some water? No. All right, so she's gonna get out, which she is. She's walking over to it. We're just gonna put the truck on it at first and see what that is.
About 6 more inches and the whole truck will be on. All right, your truck's on.
So we have 69. Stop, Max. 69. Let's see what the camper is. It's 69 and we're 7. Just give me the wheels. Make sure. All right, so it's 65,000 pounds. 6,500 pounds. 6,500 pounds. 6,500 pounds and 29. So come on, let's go. All right, so we have 6,500 pounds in the camper. We got to go figure out all this. Maybe drove a little forward. Let's see what it does. 65, 67, 65, and then it's back to 0. We're off of it. So the scale actually works and we're good. We're gonna go back home now. We can go ahead and park the camper. I'd love to be able to wash the camper, but there's no place to wash it. So I guess we'll wash it back home when we get that back there. So what do you think? It works?
It works.
Okay, and the brakes are barely working, but I think if we play with them and by the time we get to wherever we're going, I think we're gonna be okay. So we're heading off back home and we'll see you there. So we're back at the campground. We've got everything done. We got everything put up. She's leveling things out, making sure everything looks good. We got everything hooked up on the other side. Look how big those tomatoes have gotten. My goodness gracious. There's some big ones. Too bad we're not going to be here when they get red. But, yep. So, yeah, a little messy. But we'll get all this picked up. I'll turn this on to make sure it works. Max, are we home? We're home. So good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, guys. We're gonna do some more stuff. We're gonna take a little break, get all this done, put back together, and then maybe get something to eat, rest for a few minutes, and then we'll come back out and do some more stuff. I don't know what's next, but we did do the wheels. We wanted to do the wheel bearings. We figured it out. So like we bought a brand new grease gun and it worked every time I squeezed the trigger. Everything comes out, it looks good, it works good, but we couldn't get the fitting from the what is it called, bearing buddies or whatever. I couldn't get it on to get into the bearing itself. So we went ahead and just forced it on, and it actually worked. It worked out really well. It just took some muscles to get it in there because the bearings are brand new in the nozzle of the grease gun itself. So that's all it took for that, just to manhandle it and to pull it off really hard too. I mean, it wouldn't even come off once it was on there, which is a good thing. So we got grease in our bearings. We got the short taken care of. We also have the brakes. I say they're about 60% working, 70%, but as time goes on and we drive them, they'll adjust themselves. So we just got to be very careful and drive slow. Dione, it's the first time she actually got to ride in the camper with me, besides the first day we got it, and we went to Boomtown in Mississippi for our first camper adventure for that weekend before we left. So she got to ride with me, and she says, oh my God, this thing doesn't pull it very well. I'm like, no, it doesn't pull it very well, and it stays like in 4th and 5th gear. It doesn't really go into 6th gear. And then if you get about 65 miles an hour, it sways. Even with the anti-sway bars, it sways. So it's just going to take us a long time. Mileage on the truck, for gas mileage, it's saying now that we're going to get, with pulling it, it's about 11.5. If we get 10 miles to the gallon, I'll be really happy with the truck. So pulling it. So yep, this is what's happening. We're going to finish all our projects up today. And yeah, we'll talk to you in a little bit about what's going on in the future. So all right guys, come back and see us next week, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.